The trailer park sat at the edge of Millbrook, Georgia, where the town's neat main street gave way to red dirt roads and poverty. Lily Brooks checked the address on her phone one more time, making sure she had the right place. Tommy Henderson, her quietest third grader, lived here with his father. She'd noticed the bruises 2 weeks ago. Then the withdrawn behavior, the way Tommy flinched when anyone moved too quickly near him. Home visits weren't technically required, but Lily had learned in her 2 years of teaching that sometimes you had to see where kids came from to understand how to help them, even if it meant driving to the bad part of town on a Friday evening when most sensible people were heading home. The Henderson trailer was at the back of the lot, rust-stained and listing slightly to one side. Lily's Toyota looked out of place among the pickup trucks and beat-up sedans. She grabbed her bag, squared her shoulders, and headed for the front door. 3 steps up the wooden stairs, she heard the shouting. Male voices, angry and overlapping. The crash of something breaking. Then Tommy's small voice, scared and pleading. Lily's hand froze on the door handle. Every instinct screamed at her to leave, call the police, let professionals handle this. But Tommy was in there, and he was scared, and she was a teacher. Protecting kids was literally in her job description. She knocked. Hard. The shouting stopped. Heavy footsteps approached. The door swung open to reveal a man in his 40s, sweating, eyes wild. Tommy's father, Dale Henderson. "What?" he barked. "Mr. Henderson, I'm Miss Brooks, Tommy's teacher. I wanted to... Now's not a good time." He tried to close the door. Lily put her hand against it. "I just need 5 minutes to discuss Tommy's progress." "I said not now." Dale shoved the door harder, but Lily had already seen past him into the trailer. 3 men stood around the small kitchen table. Bricks of something white, definitely not sugar, stacked in neat rows. Plastic bags, a scale, money scattered across the counter. One of the men looked up, saw her, and his hand went to his waistband where metal glinted. "We got a problem, Dale," the man said, his voice cold. Dale's face went pale. "She's nobody. Tommy's teacher. She's leaving." "Teacher saw a lot for nobody." The man started toward the door. Lily's survival instincts finally kicked in. She turned and ran. She made it 3 steps before hands grabbed her jacket, yanking her backward. She screamed, struggling, her bag falling to the dirt. "Shut her up!" someone yelled. A hand clamped over her mouth. Lily bit down hard, tasting blood, and heard a curse. The grip loosened just enough for her to wrench free and run again. She'd made it maybe 10 yards when a truck's headlights cut through the twilight, coming fast up the dirt road. Too fast. The vehicle skidded to a stop between Lily and her pursuers, and a man stepped out. Tall, at least 6'3", with broad shoulders and the kind of build that came from hard physical work, not a gym. Dark hair, sharp jawline, and eyes that assessed the situation in one sweep. He wore jeans, work boots, and a simple black t-shirt that showed off muscular arms. "Evening, gentlemen," he said, and his voice was pure Georgia honey, slow, polite, and somehow more dangerous for its courtesy. "Y'all having some kind of trouble with Miss Brooks here?" "Stay out of this, Hawthorne," one of Dale's associates said. "This is none of your business." "See, that's where you're wrong." The man, Hawthorne, moved to position himself between Lily and the 3 men. "Everything that happens in Millbrook is my business. I own half this town, and I take a personal interest in the well-being of folks who live here." She saw something she shouldn't have. Then maybe you shouldn't have been doing it where a schoolteacher making a home visit could see. Hawthorne's tone never changed, still polite, still friendly. But something in his posture shifted, subtle, predatory. "Now here's what's going to happen. Y'all are going to get in your vehicles and leave Millbrook, tonight. And you're not coming back." "You can't." "I can." 2 words, soft as silk, hard as steel. "Ask around about Cole Hawthorne. Ask what happens to folks who cause trouble in my town. Then make your choice." The 3 men looked at each other. Some unspoken communication passed between them. Then, slowly, they backed toward a beaten pickup truck. "This isn't over," one of them said. "Yes," Cole replied calmly. "It is?" They left, kicking up dust as they drove away. Dale Henderson disappeared into his trailer without a word, slamming the door, and Lily stood frozen, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. Cole turned to her, and his expression softened. "You all right, ma'am?" "I—" Her voice came out shaky. "I think so." "Let me see." He moved closer, and Lily caught the scent of leather and something clean, like pine. His hand came up to tilt her chin, checking her face for injuries with surprising gentleness. "Did they hurt you?" "No. You got here before." She swallowed hard. "Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't—" "Don't think about it." His thumb brushed across her cheekbone, and Lily realized she was crying. "You're safe now. That's what matters." "I need to call the police. Report what I saw. Tommy, that little boy in there, he's not safe with those people." "I'll handle it." Cole's voice was firm. "I'll make sure Tommy's taken care of, but you're not calling the police." "What? Why not?" "Because those men you just saw? They work for the Valdez Cartel, and if you report this, if your name shows up in any police report, they'll find you and kill you." He said it matter-of-factly, like he was discussing the weather. "That's how these things work." Lily felt the blood drain from her face. "Cartel?" "The Valdez organization has been moving through small Georgia towns for months, using local criminals as distribution points. I've been tracking them, but tonight's the first time they've gotten sloppy enough to leave a witness." His jaw tightened. "Unfortunately, that witness is you." "I have to report it. I'm a mandatory reporter. If Tommy's in danger—" "Tommy will be in foster care by morning. I have connections with social services. He'll be safe." Cole's hand moved to her shoulder, steadying. "But you won't be. Not unless you let me handle this." "Handle it how?" "By making sure the Valdez people understand that you're under my protection. That touching you means going through me." His gray eyes held hers with absolute conviction. "And nobody in their right mind goes through Cole Hawthorne." "I don't even know you." "Then let me introduce myself properly." He offered his hand, and despite everything, Lily found herself taking it. "Cole Hawthorne. I own the largest ranch in 3 counties, and I make it my business to keep Millbrook safe." "And you are?" "Lily Brooks. I teach 3rd grade at Millbrook Elementary." "Well, Miss Brooks, you just became my responsibility." He released her hand, but didn't step back. "Starting right now, you're under my protection. That means you don't go anywhere alone. You don't talk to anyone about what you saw tonight, and you definitely don't play hero again." "I wasn't playing hero. I was checking on my student. And almost got yourself killed for it." But his tone was gentle, not accusatory. "You've got a good heart, darlin'. But in situations like this, a good heart can get you dead real quick." Lily bristled at the endearment, at the assumption that she needed protecting. "I can take care of myself." "Can you?" Cole gestured to the trailer where Tommy lived. "Could you have handled 3 armed men? Because that's what we're dealing with. These aren't small-time dealers, Miss Brooks. They're cartel, and now they know your face." The reality of it hit her like a physical blow. She'd walked into a drug operation. She'd seen faces, details. She was a witness. "Oh, God," she whispered. "Hey." Cole's hands came to her shoulders, steadying her. "Look at me. You're going to be fine. I promise you that. But you need to trust me. Can you do that?" "I don't have much choice, do I?" "There's always a choice." His voice dropped lower, more intimate. "You can try to handle this alone and probably end up dead. Or you can let me protect you and actually survive this. Your call, darlin'." Lily looked up at him, this stranger who'd appeared out of nowhere, who spoke with such casual authority about cartels and protection and violence. She should be terrified, should run. But something in his eyes, in the gentle way he held her despite his obvious strength, made her believe him. "Okay," she said quietly. "I'll trust you." "Good girl." The approval in his voice sent an unexpected flutter through her chest. "Now, where's your car?" "Over there." She pointed to her Toyota. "Leave it. I'll have someone pick it up tomorrow. Tonight. You're coming with me." "Coming where?" Cole's smile was slow and warm, transforming his serious face into something almost boyish. Home, Miss Brooks, to Hawthorne Ranch, where I can keep you safe. Hawthorne Ranch sprawled across the Georgia countryside like something from a movie. White fences stretched for miles, perfectly maintained. Horses grazed in pastures lit by security lights. And at the center of it all stood a house that could only be called a mansion. 2 stories of white columns, wraparound porches, and southern elegance. You live here? Lily couldn't keep the awe from her voice. Family home. Been in the Hawthorne family for 5 generations. Cole pulled his truck around to the front entrance where 2 men stood waiting, both armed, both watching the road with professional alertness. Don't mind Hector and James, they're ranch security. You have armed security at a ranch? I have expensive horses and a lot of land. His tone suggested there was more to it than that. Plus, situations like tonight. Can't be too careful. He helped her out of the truck, unnecessary but somehow natural, his hand warm and steady on her elbow. The men nodded respectfully as they passed. Boss, one said, perimeter's clear. No movement since you left. Good. Keep it that way. Miss Brooks is under our protection as of tonight. Anyone asks, you don't know her, haven't seen her, never heard the name. Cole's voice carried absolute authority. Spread the word to the other hands. This comes from me directly. Yes, sir. Inside, the house was even more impressive. Hardwood floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers. A grand staircase curved upward. Antique furniture mixed with comfortable leather sofas. Everything spoke of wealth, but also of being lived in, loved. Guest rooms upstairs, second door on the right, Cole said, leading her through the foyer. Bathrooms en suite. There's clothes in the closet. My sister stays here sometimes. Y'all are about the same size. Your sister? Sarah. She's a lawyer in Atlanta. Comes home when she can. He guided Lily into a spacious kitchen that managed to be both modern and rustic. You eaten dinner? Lily realized she hadn't. No, but I can't impose. It's not imposing. It's making sure you don't pass out from shock and hunger. Cole opened the refrigerator, pulled out containers. I make a decent steak. You eat meat? Yes, but really, you don't have to. Miss Brooks. He turned to face her, and the intensity in his eyes stopped her protest. You've had a traumatic evening. You're in shock, running on adrenaline, and probably about 10 minutes from falling apart. So you're going to sit at that counter. Drink the bourbon I'm about to pour you, and let me take care of you. Understood? The commanding tone should have annoyed her. Instead, Lily found herself sinking onto a bar stool, accepting the glass of amber liquid he slid across the granite counter. Yes, sir, she murmured, then flushed. Sorry, that just came out. Cole's smile was slow and devastating. Don't apologize. I like a woman with manners. He cooked with the same quiet efficiency he seemed to apply to everything. No wasted movement, complete confidence. Lily sipped the bourbon, feeling the warmth spread through her chest, and watched him work. Can I ask you something? She said after a few minutes of silence. You can ask. Can't promise I'll answer. Those men at the trailer, they knew you. They were afraid of you. Why? Cole flipped the steaks, added butter to the pan. I own 40,000 acres in 3 counties. I employ over 200 people. I sit on the town council, donate to every charity in Millbrook, and I've made it clear that this town is under my protection. He looked up, meeting her eyes. I also spent 12 years in military intelligence doing things I can't talk about. And when I came home, I decided no one was going to turn my town into a drug corridor. You're like what? A vigilante? I'm a man who takes care of his own. He plated the food, perfectly cooked steak, roasted vegetables, mashed potatoes that smelled like heaven. The law's too slow, too bound by rules. By the time the DEA gets involved, people are dead. So I handle problems before they become deadly. That's illegal. So's what those men were doing to Tommy Henderson. Cole set the plate in front of her, then poured himself bourbon. Sometimes you have to choose between what's legal and what's right. Lily wanted to argue, to insist that laws existed for a reason. But she'd seen Tommy's bruises, she'd heard his scared voice, and the police hadn't done anything despite her 3 reports to child services. What happens now? She asked instead, cutting into the steak. With Tommy, with those men, with me. Tommy's already in emergency foster care. I called in a favor while we were driving. He'll be placed with the Carters. Good people, no kids of their own, been trying to adopt for years. Dale Henderson will be arrested by morning on unrelated warrants I've made sure the sheriff remembers exist. And the Cartel men? They're leaving Georgia. I've made that clear. Cole took a long swallow of bourbon. But the Valdez organization doesn't like loose ends, which means you're a problem they'll eventually want to solve. Fear, cold and sharp, cut through Lily's chest. You're saying they'll come after me. I'm saying they would if they thought they could get to you. He reached across the counter, covering her hand with his. But they can't, because you're here, on my property, under my protection, and everyone in a 100-mile radius knows that touching what's mine is a death sentence. I'm not yours. Aren't you? His thumb stroked across her knuckles. You're in my house, eating my food, about to sleep in my guest room. You're relying on me to keep you alive. That makes you mine, darlin', whether you want to admit it or not. The possessiveness should have angered her. Instead, it sent a shiver down her spine that had nothing to do with fear. For how long? Her voice came out softer than she intended. How long do I have to stay here? As long as it takes to make sure the Valdez people understand you're off limits. Cole stood, moving around the counter to stand beside her. Could be a week, could be a month, could be... He paused. Could be longer, if you decide you like it here. I have a job, students who need me, a life in town. You can still teach. I'll have someone drive you to school, stay nearby, bring you back here at night. His hand came up to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, an oddly intimate gesture. But you're not going back to that little apartment above the bookstore. Not until this is over. You know where I live? Darlin', I know everything about everyone in Millbrook. It's my job to know. He smiled at her shocked expression. Lily Elizabeth Brooks, age 27, grew up in Atlanta, graduated from UGA with a degree in elementary education, moved to Millbrook 2 years ago, looking for small-town charm. Volunteers at the library on weekends, drinks too much coffee, and has a soft spot for stray cats. That's creepy? Invasive? How do you know all that? Because I noticed you the day you moved to town. The admission hung between them. Pretty young woman, all alone, dragging boxes up those stairs to that tiny apartment. I wondered what would bring someone like you to a place like Millbrook. Teaching job, Lily managed, and the rent was cheap. And you were running from something. It wasn't a question. Bad relationship? Family problems? Both. The bourbon was making her honest. My ex was controlling. My mother thought I was throwing my life away, leaving Atlanta. Millbrook seemed like a fresh start. And now you're caught up in cartel business and living with a man you just met. Cole's expression softened. That's not the fresh start you were hoping for. No, Lily admitted, but you did save my life, so I guess it could be worse. It definitely could be worse. He took her empty plate, loaded it into the dishwasher with his own. Come on, I'll show you to your room. You look exhausted. He was right. Now that the adrenaline was wearing off, Lily felt like she could sleep for a week. She followed him upstairs, trying not to stare at the family photos lining the walls. Cole as a boy on a horse, Cole in military uniform, Cole with an older couple who must have been his parents. The guest room was beautiful, 4-poster bed with a plush comforter, antique dresser, reading chair by the window, and through an open door she could see a luxurious bathroom. Clothes in the closet, toiletries in the bathroom, Cole said, lingering in the doorway. My room's at the end of the hall. If you need anything, don't hesitate to come find me. Thank you. Lily turned to face him. For everything. For saving me. For all of this. You don't need to thank me for doing what's right. Cole moved closer, and Lily's breath caught. But I do need you to promise me something. What? Promise me you'll stay put. No heroics, no sneaking out to check on students, no trying to handle this yourself. His hand came up to cup her face, and the gentleness of it made her throat tight. "Promise me you'll let me protect you." "I promise," Lily whispered. "Good girl." He stroked his thumb across her cheek once, then stepped back. "Get some sleep, darlin'. Tomorrow we figure out how to keep you alive long enough to finish the school year." He was gone before Lily could respond, closing the door softly behind him. She stood alone in the beautiful guest room, her mind racing. 24 hours ago, she'd been a simple teacher, living a quiet life. Now she was under the protection of a man who was equal parts Southern gentleman and lethal operative, hiding from a drug cartel on a ranch that felt more like a fortress. Her life had just become impossibly complicated. And the most dangerous part? When Cole Hawthorne called her darling in that slow Georgia drawl, her heart raced for reasons that had nothing to do with fear. Lily woke to sunlight streaming through gauze curtains and the smell of coffee. For a disorienting moment, she forgot where she was. Then memory crashed back. The trailer, the drugs, Cole Hawthorne's gray eyes promising protection. She found clothes in the closet exactly as he'd said. Designer jeans that fit perfectly, a soft cream sweater, even undergarments still in packages. His sister either lived here frequently, or Cole was extremely prepared for house guests. Downstairs, she followed the coffee smell to find Cole at the kitchen island, reading something on a tablet. He'd changed into fresh jeans and a dark blue Henley that showed off his build. His hair was slightly damp, like he'd recently showered. "Morning," he said without looking up. "Coffee's fresh. Mug's in the cabinet above the pot." "Thank you." Lily poured herself a cup. Added cream. "Did you sleep?" "Some." He finally looked up, and his gaze swept over her with obvious approval. "Sarah's clothes fit you well. I'll have someone pick up your things from your apartment today." "I can get them myself." "No, you can't." His tone was firm, but not unkind. "Rule number 1 of being under protection. You don't go anywhere without me or one of my men. That includes your apartment." "For how long?" "As long as it takes." He stood, refilling his own mug. "I made some calls last night. The 3 men from the trailer left Georgia around midnight, crossed into Alabama, kept going, but Valdez has other people in the area." "So it's not over." "Not yet." Cole leaned against the counter, studying her. "Which is why you need to understand something, Lily. Starting today, your life changes. You follow my rules. You go where I say, you don't take risks. In return, I keep you breathing. Deal?" "Do I have a choice?" "There's always a choice." He moved closer, and Lily caught that scent again. Leather and pine, and something uniquely him. "You can refuse my protection, try to handle this alone, and probably end up dead within a week. Or you can trust me, let me do what I do best, and actually survive this." Lily looked up at him. This man who'd appeared out of nowhere to save her, who spoke about death with casual certainty, who looked at her with an intensity that made her pulse race. "Okay," she said quietly. "I'll follow your rules." "All of them?" His voice dropped lower, more intimate. "Yes." Something flashed in his eyes, satisfaction mixed with possession. "Good girl, now finish your coffee." "I'm driving you to school." "You don't have to." "Rule number 2, I drive you everywhere until this is over." He grabbed keys from a hook by the door. "Get used to it, darlin'." The drive to Millbrook Elementary took 15 minutes through beautiful countryside. Cole drove a different truck than last night. This one newer, cleaner, but still practical. A working man's vehicle, despite the obvious wealth. "Tell me about your students," he said as they passed through town. "What do you want to know?" "Whatever you want to tell me. You light up when you talk about them. I noticed that last night, before everything went to hell." Lily found herself talking about her third graders, their personalities, their struggles, their small victories. Cole listened with genuine interest, asking questions that showed he was really paying attention. "Tommy's the quiet one," she said as they pulled into the school parking lot. "Brilliant kid, loves to read, but so withdrawn. I knew something was wrong at home. I just didn't know it was—" She stopped. "You did the right thing checking on him." Cole parked, but didn't get out. "The fact that you walked into danger for a student? That says everything about who you are." "It says I'm reckless." It says you care. His hand found hers on the console. Most people would have looked the other way. You didn't. That takes courage. Or stupidity. Sometimes they're the same thing. He squeezed her hand. Go teach. I'll be here when school lets out. And Lily? Yes? See that truck 3 spaces over? The black Ford? At her nod, he continued. That's Marcus, one of my men. He'll be watching the school all day. You won't see him. But he's there. If anything feels wrong, anything at all, you text me immediately. He handed her a phone, new, already programmed. My number's in there, and Marcus's, and Hector's. Anyone tries to approach you, anyone you don't recognize, you call. You really think they'd come here? To an elementary school? I think desperate people do desperate things. Cole's expression was grim. And I don't take chances with what's mine. There was that word again. Mine. Possessive and absolute. I'm not, Lily started. Yes, you are. He leaned closer, and she caught her breath. I decided that last night, when I saw you running scared with those men chasing you. You became mine in that moment, Lily Brooks, and I protect what's mine. Before she could respond, he was out of the truck, opening her door, helping her down with that same unnecessary courtesy. Then he was back in the driver's seat, watching her walk into the school like he had all the time in the world. The day passed in a blur of lessons and worksheets and worried glances at the new phone. Cole texted twice, once at lunch to make sure she'd eaten, once mid-afternoon just to check in. Each message was brief, but the care behind them was clear. At dismissal, Lily walked her students out to the pickup line, scanning faces automatically. Everything seemed normal. Parents in minivans, buses lined up, the usual chaos. Then she saw him. A man leaning against a car across the street, watching the school with too much interest. He caught her eye and smiled, cold, predatory. Lily's hands shook as she pulled out the phone, typing quickly. Strange man watching school. Across the street. Gray sedan. Cole's response was immediate. Get inside. Now. Marcus is moving. Lily ushered the last students to their parents, then turned back to the building. The man was walking toward her now, crossing the street with deliberate steps. Miss Brooks, he called out. His accent was thick, unfamiliar. I need to talk to you about last night. I don't know what you're talking about. Lily kept walking, faster now. I think you do. He was closer, too close. You saw something you shouldn't have. My employer would like to... He never finished. Marcus appeared from nowhere, intercepting him with brutal efficiency. The man went down hard, arm twisted behind his back, face pressed to the pavement. Other parents screamed, children cried, and Lily stood frozen, watching security guards rush over, watching Marcus hold the struggling man with professional ease. Cole's truck screeched into the parking lot 30 seconds later. He was out and at her side before she could blink. Are you hurt? His hands ran over her arms, checking for injuries. No, I'm fine. He didn't touch me. Good. Cole's expression went cold as he looked at the man Marcus held. Because if he had, they'd be scraping him off the pavement. The sheriff arrived, took statements, hauled the man away. The principal assured everyone it was just a misunderstanding, nothing to worry about. But Lily saw the fear in the other teacher's eyes, the way parents hurried their children away. This is my fault, she whispered as Cole guided her to his truck. I brought danger to my school. No. Cole's voice was steel. They brought danger by coming after you. Big difference. He drove in tense silence, one hand on the wheel, the other reaching across to hold hers. When they finally pulled through the gates of Hawthorne Ranch, he didn't take her to the main house. Instead, he drove to a barn at the back of the property, pulled inside, and killed the engine. Cole! He pulled her across the console into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. When Marcus called, when he said someone was approaching you, his voice was rough. I've handled hostage situations, cartel operations, men with guns pointed at my head. None of it scared me like that phone call. I'm okay, Lily whispered. This time. He pulled back just enough to look at her, and the raw emotion in his eyes stole her breath. But they found you once. They'll try again. So what do we do? Cole's jaw tightened. We go on the offensive. I'm done playing defense with your life. His hand cupped her face. You're mine, Lily. Mine to protect. Mine to keep safe. Mine to... He stopped. Yours to what? Mine, he repeated simply. In every way that matters. And I don't give up what's mine. That night, Cole's house transformed into something resembling a war room. Men Lily had never seen before appeared, some in ranch clothes, others in tactical gear. They gathered in what Cole called his office, studying maps and surveillance photos spread across a massive oak desk. You don't have to see this, Cole said when he found Lily lingering in the hallway. Go upstairs, get some rest. No. She stepped into the office with more confidence than she felt. If this is about me, I should know what's happening. The men looked to Cole, waiting for his decision. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Everyone, this is Lily Brooks. She's under my protection, which means she's family. Treat her with respect. His tone left no room for argument. Lily, this is my tactical team. Most of them served with me overseas. Now they work ranch security and other operations. Other operations? Lily repeated. The kind that keep Millbrook safe from people like Valdez. Cole pulled out a chair for her. Sit. You deserve to know what we're up against. Marcus, the man she recognized from the school, pulled up photos on a laptop. The man we apprehended today is Rafael Mendoza, mid-level enforcer for the Valdez organization. Been in the States 3 months, tied to at least 4 murders in Texas and Louisiana. Lily's stomach dropped. 4 murders? He's not a street dealer, Miss Brooks. He's a professional killer. Marcus clicked to another photo, the trailer from yesterday. The operation you witnessed was small-time, but it's part of a larger distribution network. Valdez is trying to establish territory across rural Georgia, using small towns because law enforcement is spread thin. They'll send someone else, Cole said, his voice grim. Rafael was just the first attempt. They'll escalate. So, what do we do? Lily asked. We send a message. Cole stood, moving to the map on the wall. Valdez has 3 known locations in Georgia, a warehouse in Macon, a distribution house in Columbus, and a farm outside Athens they use as a processing center. You're going after them, Lily realized. I'm removing the threat. Cole's eyes met hers. It's the only way to keep you safe. As long as Valdez has a presence in Georgia, you're in danger. So I'm going to give them a choice. Leave the state permanently, or lose everything they've built here. That's... Lily struggled for words. That's vigilante justice. That's survival. Cole crossed to her, kneeling so they were eye level. I know this isn't the world you're used to. I know it seems extreme. But these people don't respond to polite requests or legal proceedings. They respond to force. People could get hurt. You could get hurt. Something softened in his expression. You worried about me, darling? Of course I am. The admission came out before she could stop it. I barely know you, but you saved my life. You've been nothing but kind to me. I don't want you risking yourself because I was stupid enough to walk into a drug operation. Hey. Cole's hands framed her face. You weren't stupid. You were being a good teacher, and I'm not risking myself. I'm doing my job. Your job is ranching. My job is protecting what's mine. His thumbs stroked across her cheekbones. And you're mine now, Lily. That means I do whatever it takes. One of the men cleared his throat. Boss, we should move on this tonight. Element of surprise. Cole held Lily's gaze for another moment, then stood. You're right. Marcus, take 4 men to the Macon warehouse. Hector, you've got Columbus. I'll handle Athens. Cole, no. Lily grabbed his arm. Let the police handle this. Call the DEA, the FBI. And wait weeks for them to build a case while Valdez sends more killers after you? Cole covered her hand with his. I can't do that. I won't risk you because the law moves too slow. Then let me come with you. If this is because of me... Absolutely not. His voice was steel. You stay here, in this house, with James and 3 other men guarding you. You don't leave, you don't answer the door, you don't even look out the windows. Understood? You can't just order me around. Yes, I can. Cole stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. You promised to follow my rules. This is rule number 3. When I say stay, you stay. When I say hide, you hide. And when I tell you something is too dangerous, you listen. I'm not a child. No. You're a woman I'm trying to keep alive. His hand slid to the back of her neck, holding her gently but firmly. A woman who's becoming far too important to me in a very short time. So you're going to stay here, safe, where I don't have to worry about you while I'm handling business. How long will you be gone? Few hours. We hit all 3 locations simultaneously, make our point, and get out clean. He leaned down, his forehead nearly touching hers. I'll be back before you know it. And then we'll talk about what happens next. What does happen next? We figure out if this thing between us is just adrenaline and circumstance, or if it's something more. His voice dropped to something intimate. Because I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since the moment I saw you running scared. And that's not just protective instinct talking. Lily's breath caught. Cole? Stay safe, Lily Brooks. I'll be back soon. He pressed a kiss to her forehead, brief, warm, and somehow more intimate than anything else he'd done. Then he was gone, his team following, leaving her alone with James and the other guards. The next 3 hours were the longest of Lily's life. She tried to read, couldn't focus, tried to watch television, couldn't sit still. Finally, she ended up in the kitchen making coffee she didn't want, just to have something to do with her hands. He'll be fine, ma'am, James said from his post by the door. Boss knows what he's doing. Done operations twice as dangerous. That doesn't make me feel better. Probably wouldn't, no. James smiled slightly. But for what it's worth, I've known Cole Hawthorne for 15 years, served under him overseas, worked for him since we both came home, never seen him like this about anyone. Like what? Protective, yeah. But also, James seemed to search for words. Invested. Usually he keeps his distance, stays professional. With you, it's different, personal. We just met yesterday. Sometimes that's all it takes. James's radio crackled, and he turned away to respond. Lily moved to the window, staring out at the dark countryside. Somewhere out there, Cole was confronting dangerous men. Risking himself. For her. The thought made her chest tight with emotion she didn't want to examine too closely. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Hiding at his ranch won't save you. We know where you are. We're coming. Lily's hand shook as she showed James the message. Secure the house, James barked into his radio. Possible threat incoming. Wake everyone. The mansion erupted into controlled chaos. Men appeared from seemingly nowhere, checking weapons, taking positions. Lights went out, plunging rooms into darkness, and Lily stood in the kitchen, feeling utterly helpless. Stay with me, James said, guiding her toward the stairs. We're moving you to the safe room. Safe room? Boss built it after he came home, reinforced walls, separate ventilation, supplies for days. Nothing's getting through those doors. They were halfway up the stairs when glass shattered in the living room. Gunfire erupted, sharp cracks that made Lily scream. James pushed her behind him, weapon drawn, returning fire toward the windows. Go! He shouted. End of the hall, last door, code is 0815. Lock yourself in and don't come out until Cole gets here. Lily ran, her heart hammering, legs shaking. Behind her, she heard more gunfire, shouting, the sounds of violence. She reached the door, punched in the code with trembling fingers, and stumbled into a small room lined with monitors and supplies. On the screens, she could see the house, men in tactical gear breaching windows, James and the other guards fighting back. It was a war zone, and Cole wasn't here. Lily pulled out her phone, called his number with shaking hands. Lily? His voice was sharp with concern. What's wrong? They're here, at the ranch. They're attacking. I'm 10 minutes out. Stay in the safe room. Do not open that door for anyone but me. You hear me? Cole, James is out there. Your men can handle themselves. You stay hidden. His truck engine roared in the background. I'm coming, darlin'. Hold on. The line went dead, and Lily sat alone in the safe room, watching monitors as the battle raged below, praying that Cole would make it back in time. The 10 minutes felt like hours. Lily watched the monitors, her stomach churning as James and the guards fought back the attackers. One man went down. She couldn't tell which side. Then another. The living room was destroyed, furniture overturned, glass everywhere. Then she heard it, the distinctive roar of Cole's truck, coming fast up the drive. On the monitors, she watched him leap from the vehicle before it fully stopped, weapon already drawn. He moved through the chaos with lethal precision, taking down 2 attackers in seconds. His team poured in behind him, Marcus, Hector, others she didn't know. The battle shifted immediately. Cole's presence changed everything. His men fought harder, moved faster. The attackers began retreating, overwhelmed by the superior force. Within 5 minutes, it was over. Bodies lay scattered, some moving, some not. Cole stood in the center of his destroyed living room, chest heaving, blood on his shirt. But he was alive. "Lily," his voice carried through the house. "Lily, it's me. You can come out." She fumbled with the door, her hands shaking so badly she could barely work the lock. Then she was running down the hallway, down the stairs, not caring about protocol or safety or anything except getting to him. Cole caught her as she launched herself into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. "You're okay," he murmured into her hair. "Thank God you're okay." "You're bleeding." Lily pulled back, seeing the blood on his shoulder. "You're hurt." "Not my blood." His hands framed her face, tilting it up so he could see her. "Did they touch you? Did anyone get near you?" "No." "James got me to the safe room before—" Her voice broke. "Is he alive? Is James—" "He's fine. Took around to the vest, but he's fine. Everyone's fine." Cole pulled her close again. "You did exactly right, darlin'. Followed instructions, stayed hidden. I'm so damn proud of you." Marcus approached, his expression grim. 6 hostiles down, 3 in custody. The rest scattered. We've got IDs on all of them. Definitely Valdez people." "Good." Cole's voice went cold. "Get the ones in custody to the barn. I want to have a conversation before we turn them over to the sheriff." "Cole," Lily started. "Go upstairs," he said gently, releasing her. "Get cleaned up. Have some bourbon. Try to calm down. I'll be up in an hour." "What are you going to do?" "Have a conversation." His eyes held hers. "One that will ensure Valdez understands that coming after you again means losing more than just men." Lily wanted to argue, to insist she didn't want him doing something he couldn't take back, but she saw the set of his jaw, the cold determination in his eyes. Cole Hawthorne had made up his mind. "Don't do anything you'll regret," she whispered. "The only thing I'd regret is not protecting you well enough." He pressed a kiss to her forehead. "Go. I'll be up soon." Lily went, but she didn't go upstairs. Instead, she waited in the kitchen, watching through the window as Cole and his men took the 3 prisoners to the barn. 40 minutes passed. No gunshots, no screams. But when Cole emerged, his expression was satisfied. He found her in the kitchen, poured himself a bourbon, and drained it in one swallow. "They talked?" Lily asked quietly. "They talked." Cole poured another glass. "Valdez put a bounty on you. 50,000 for whoever brings you to him alive. That's why they came here. 6 men thought they could break through my security, grab you, collect the money." 50,000? Lily felt sick. "I'm worth $50,000 dead?" "You're worth everything alive." Cole set down his glass and crossed to her. "And Valdez is about to learn that lesson the hard way." "What did you do to those men?" "Sent a message. They'll deliver it to Valdez personally, that you're under the protection of Cole Hawthorne, and the bounty is now reversed. 50,000 to anyone who brings me Valdez's location, 100,000 to anyone who brings me Valdez himself." Lily stared at him. "You put a bounty on a cartel boss?" "I put a price on ending this threat." Cole's hands settled on her waist. "Every criminal from here to Texas will be looking for him now. He'll have to leave the country or die. Either way, you're safe." "You just started a war." "I just ended one." His voice softened. "Lily, I know this isn't the life you wanted. I know you came to Millbrook for peace and quiet and small-town charm. Instead, you got drug cartels and gunfights and a man who solves problems with violence." "Cole, let me finish." His forehead touched hers. I understand if you want to leave when this is over. I'll set you up somewhere safe, new identity, fresh start. You can have the peaceful life you wanted. What if I don't want to leave? Cole went very still. What? What if... Lily's hands came up to rest on his chest, feeling his heart pounding beneath her palms. What if I want to stay here, with you? You don't know what you're saying. 2 days ago, you were a school teacher living a normal life. 2 days ago, I was lonely. The admission surprised her, but it was true. I was safe and comfortable and completely alone. No family nearby, no real friends, just students and books and empty evenings. Lily. Then you showed up. You saved my life, brought me to your home, and treated me like I mattered. Like I was worth protecting. Worth. She struggled for the right words. Worth everything you've done. Cole's hands tightened on her waist. You are worth everything. That's the problem. You deserve better than a man who handles problems with guns and threats. I deserve to make my own choices. Lily looked up at him with more courage than she felt. And I'm choosing to stay. If you'll have me. If I'll have you. Cole's laugh was rough. Darlin', I've been yours since the moment I saw you running scared. I just didn't want to trap you in my world. What if I want to be trapped? Then God help us both. Cole's mouth came down on hers. Not gentle, not tentative, but claiming. Possessive. A kiss that said everything words couldn't. Lily melted into him, her hands sliding up to tangle in his hair. He tasted like bourbon and danger and something uniquely him. When he finally pulled back, they were both breathing hard. You're mine, Cole said roughly. Say it. I need to hear you say it. I'm yours, Lily whispered. If you're mine, too. Darlin', I've been yours from the start. He kissed her again, softer this time. Now let's get you upstairs. You've had enough excitement for one night. Will you stay with me? The question came out smaller than she intended. I don't want to be alone. Cole's expression softened completely. I'll stay as long as you need me to. Always. 3 weeks later, Lily stood in Cole's kitchen making breakfast when Marcus burst through the door, his face grim. We've got him, he said without preamble. Valdez, someone took the bounty. Cole looked up from his coffee, suddenly alert. Where? Abandoned warehouse outside Savannah. My contact says he's got 3 men with him, planning to leave the country tonight. Private boat waiting at the dock. How reliable is your contact? Reliable enough that I'd stake my life on it. Marcus pulled up a map on his phone. He's cornered, boss. This is our chance to end it. Cole's jaw tightened. He glanced at Lily, and she saw the conflict in his eyes, the need to eliminate the threat versus the reluctance to leave her. Go, Lily said quietly. I'll be fine here. James and the others. Nearly got overrun last time, Cole interrupted. I'm not leaving you with minimal security again. Then take me with you. Absolutely not. Cole, listen. Lily set down the spatula and crossed to him. If you don't end this tonight, we're stuck in limbo forever. You said yourself, as long as Valdez is alive, I'm in danger, so go finish it. She's right, Marcus said, and we've reinforced security since the attack. 8 men on the property, new alarm systems, reinforced safe room. She'll be protected. Cole studied Lily for a long moment, his hand coming up to cup her face. You're sure? I'm sure. Go end this so we can have a normal life. Darlin', nothing about our life will ever be normal. But he smiled, leaning down to kiss her, a kiss that promised he'd come back. Stay in the house. Safe room at the first sign of trouble. And Lily? Yes. I love you. The words were simple, direct. I should have said it before, but I'm saying it now. I love you, and I'm coming back to you. Lily's throat tightened. I love you too, so come back safe. Always. One more kiss, then he was gone, Marcus and a team of 6 men following. The house felt empty without him. Lily tried to focus on normal things, grading papers, reading, cooking dinner she knew she wouldn't eat. James and the security team were professional, but distant, giving her space while maintaining vigilance. Night fell. Still no word from Cole. Lily was making tea when her phone rang. Cole's number. Relief flooded through her. "Cole? Are you... Miss Brooks?" The voice was accented, cold. Not Cole. "I believe you have something that belongs to me. And now I have something that belongs to you." Lily's blood turned to ice. "Who is this?" "My name is Mateo Valdez, and I'm currently looking at your lover, who had the audacity to put a bounty on my head." A pause. "He's alive, for now, but his continued survival depends on your cooperation." "You're lying." But her voice shook. "Am I?" Rustling sounds, then Cole's voice, strained, angry. "Lily, don't listen to him. Don't you dare—" The sound cut off abruptly. "As I was saying," Valdez continued smoothly, "you have 1 hour to meet me at the location I'm about to text you. You come alone, unarmed, or your protector dies. Understand?" "I understand." Lily's mind raced. "But I want proof he's alive. Let me talk to him." "You heard his voice. That's all the proof you get." The line went dead. Seconds later, a text arrived with an address, a location 30 minutes away, somewhere in the woods between Millbrook and Savannah. Lily stared at the phone, her hands trembling. Every logical part of her brain screamed to call Marcus's team, to follow protocol, to let the professionals handle this. But Valdez had Cole, the man who'd saved her life, who'd protected her, who'd just told her he loved her. She couldn't let him die because of her. James was making rounds outside when Lily slipped into Cole's office. She knew the code to the gun safe, had watched him open it a dozen times. Inside, she found a pistol, checked that it was loaded the way Cole had taught her during their practice sessions. "Just in case," he'd said. "I hope you never need it, but I want you to know how." Now she needed it. She left through the mudroom, using the exit that the security cameras didn't cover, a blind spot Cole had mentioned planning to fix. Her car was where they'd parked it 3 weeks ago, keys still in the ignition. The drive took 28 minutes. Every mile, Lily fought the urge to turn around, to call for help, but Valdez's threat echoed in her mind. "You come alone, or your protector dies." The address led to an old hunting cabin deep in the woods. Lights glowed in the windows. 2 trucks were parked outside. Lily parked, checked the gun one more time, and got out. The cabin door opened before she reached it. Valdez stood framed in the doorway, older than she expected, maybe 50, with gray hair and cold eyes that assessed her like merchandise. "Miss Brooks, punctual. I appreciate that in a woman." He stepped aside. "Please, come in." The cabin's interior was sparse. A few chairs, a table, and Cole tied to a chair in the center of the room. Blood dripped from a cut above his eye. His hands were bound behind his back, but his eyes blazed with fury when he saw her. "Lily, what the hell are you doing here?" His voice was raw. "I told you to stay." "Quiet." One of Valdez's men hit Cole across the face. "Don't touch him!" Lily lunged forward, but Valdez caught her arm. Such devotion. It's almost touching. He pushed her toward another chair. "Sit. We have business to discuss." "You said you'd let him go if I came." "I said his survival depended on your cooperation. I never promised to release him." Valdez smiled. "You see, Miss Brooks, you've cost me a great deal. My Georgia operation is destroyed. My men are dead or scattered. All because you witnessed a simple transaction. Then let us go. We'll leave Georgia, never come back." "It's too late for that." Valdez pulled out a gun, aimed it at Cole. "You've seen too much. He's interfered too much. You both have to die. The only question is, how painful I make it." "No!" Lily stood. "Please, I'll do anything. Just let him live." "Lily, don't—" Cole struggled against his bonds. "Don't beg this bastard for anything." Touching. Valdez turned the gun toward Lily, but ultimately pointless. "Goodbye, Miss Brooks." Everything happened at once. Cole threw himself sideways, chair and all, crashing into Valdez's legs. Lily pulled the gun from her jacket, aimed with shaking hands, and fired. The shot went wide, hitting the wall. Valdez's men raised their weapons. Then the cabin's windows exploded inward. Marcus and his team poured through in a storm of tactical precision and gunfire. Valdez went down, his men dropping before they could fire. In 30 seconds, it was over. Marcus cut Cole free while Lily stood frozen, the gun still in her trembling hands. Cole was at her side instantly, pulling her into his arms. "How did you—" she started. "Tracker in your phone," Cole said roughly. "You think I'd let you go anywhere without being able to find you? The second you left the ranch, Marcus's team started moving. You used me as bait. I trusted you to be brave enough to survive until we got here." He cupped her face. "And you were. You shot at a cartel boss to save my life." "I missed. You tried. That's what matters." Cole kissed her hard. "Don't you ever scare me like that again. You hear me? Then don't get yourself captured by cartel bosses." Despite everything, the violence, the fear, the near-death experience, Cole laughed. Deal. 6 months later. Lily stood on the front porch of Hawthorne Ranch, watching the sun set over the pastures. The house had been completely rebuilt after the attack. Stronger, more secure, but still home. Her home now, officially. The ring on her left hand caught the light, a sapphire surrounded by small diamonds, Georgian and vintage, from Cole's grandmother. He'd proposed 3 months ago, right here on this porch, getting down on one knee in his work boots and asking if she'd be crazy enough to marry a man who solved problems with violence and loved her with everything he had. She'd said yes before he finished the question. "There you are." Cole's arms came around her from behind, pulling her back against his chest. "Thought I'd lost you to paperwork again. Just needed air." Lily leaned into him, breathing in the familiar scent of leather and pine. "Tommy's adoption papers came through today. The Carters officially have him." "That's good news." Cole pressed a kiss to her temple. "You've been checking on him?" "Every week. He's doing so well, Cole. He smiles now, talks in class. His drawings aren't dark anymore." Lily turned in his arms. "You did that. You saved him." "We saved him. You're the one who cared enough to check on him in the first place." "And walked into a drug operation and nearly got us both killed. And led me to the woman I'm going to marry in 2 weeks." Cole's hands settled on her waist. "So, I'd say it worked out." The wedding was small by design. Just close friends, Marcus and the team, Cole's sister Sarah flying in from Atlanta, and Lily's mother, who'd finally accepted that her daughter had found something real in this small Georgia town. "Nervous?" Cole asked, reading her expression. "About marrying you?" "No." Lily's hands slid up his chest. "About being the wife of the most powerful man in 3 counties? Maybe a little. You've been handling it fine for 6 months." It was true. Lily had slipped into life at Hawthorne Ranch more easily than she'd expected. She still taught 3rd grade at Millbrook Elementary, but now she drove there in one of Cole's trucks, with security that had become so routine she barely noticed it. She'd started a reading program for at-risk kids, funded by Cole's seemingly endless resources, and she'd learned to navigate the peculiar world of being Cole Hawthorne's woman, respected, protected, and occasionally feared by association. "The school board asked me to be principal," Lily said, "starting next fall." Cole's eyebrows rose. "That's a big promotion." "I told them I'd think about it, but Cole, it would mean more responsibility, more hours, more visibility. Are you okay with that?" "Why wouldn't I be?" "Because I'd be more exposed, more visible, if any threats come back. They won't." Cole's voice was firm. "Valdez is dead. His organization scattered. The DEA cleaned up what we didn't. You're safe, Lily. You get to have a normal life now." "Is any life with you normal?" "Probably not." He grinned. "But it'll never be boring." Marcus appeared in the doorway. "Boss, sorry to interrupt, but we've got that thing in 20 minutes. "Right." Cole kissed Lily's forehead. "I've got a meeting. Back in an hour." "What kind of meeting?" "The boring kind. Ranch business." But something in his expression told Lily there was more to it. "Cole Hawthorne, are you keeping secrets from your fiancé?" "Only the good kind." He was already heading for his truck. "Trust me, darlin'. I'll be back soon." Lily watched him drive away, then turned to Marcus. "What's he really doing?" Marcus's lips twitched. "Can't say, ma'am. Boss's orders." "Marcus?" "You'll find out soon enough." He tipped his hat and followed Cole. Lily went inside, trying to focus on wedding preparations, but her mind kept wandering. Cole had been secretive for the past week, making mysterious phone calls and disappearing for meetings that he refused to explain. An hour and a half later, Cole's truck returned. But he wasn't alone. Behind him came a caravan of vehicles, trucks, SUVs, even a moving van. Lily stepped onto the porch, confused. "Cole? What's going on?" He climbed out of his truck with a smile that was pure satisfaction. "Come here. I want to show you something." He led her past the main house to the old barn that had been empty since she'd arrived. Except it wasn't empty anymore. The barn had been completely renovated. New paint, new windows, a beautiful sign above the door that read, "Second Chances Learning Center." "Cole," Lily's voice caught. "What is this?" "Your dream." He opened the door, revealing a space transformed. Bright classrooms, small desks, bookshelves already being filled, art supplies, computers. "You told me once that you wanted to help more kids like Tommy. Kids who fall through the cracks, who need extra support. So I built you a place to do it." Lily walked through the space, tears streaming down her face. It was perfect. Everything she'd imagined and more. A safe space for at-risk children, right here on the ranch property. "The county's already approved it as a satellite learning center," Cole continued. "You can run it however you want. After-school programs, tutoring, summer camps. I've set up a foundation to fund it indefinitely. Staff, supplies, whatever you need." "This must have cost—" "Don't care." He pulled her into his arms. "You saved a kid's life by caring enough to check on him. Imagine how many more you could save with the right resources." "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll marry me in 2 weeks and spend the rest of your life changing the world from this ranch." His hand cupped her face. "Say you'll be happy here with me." "I'm already happy here with you." Lily rose on her toes to kiss him. But yes, to all of it. Yes. The wedding, 2 weeks later, was everything Lily had wanted. Simple, beautiful, surrounded by people who mattered. She wore a vintage lace dress. Cole wore his best suit, and they said their vows under an oak tree that had stood on Hawthorne land for 200 years. "I promise to protect you," Cole said, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. "To support your dreams, to make you laugh, and to love you with everything I have. You walked into my life running scared, and you gave me a reason to be more than just a man who solves problems with violence. You made me want to build something beautiful." Lily's tears fell freely. "I promise to trust you, even when you're being overprotective. To love you, even when you're being impossible. You saved my life, but more than that, you gave me a life worth living. You made me brave enough to want forever." Marcus handed over the rings. Sarah wiped her eyes, and when the minister pronounced them husband and wife, Cole kissed Lily like he was claiming her all over again. The reception was held on the ranch, under string lights and Georgia stars. They danced to country music, ate too much barbecue, and celebrated until the small hours of the morning. Later, much later, Cole carried Lily over the threshold of their bedroom, the master suite they'd been sharing for months, but that somehow felt different now. "Mrs. Hawthorne," he murmured against her neck. "I like the sound of that." "Mr. Hawthorne." Lily's hand slid up his chest. "I like the sound of you calling me yours. You've been mine since the moment I saw you running scared." He laid her gently on the bed, following her down. "Now you're just mine, officially. And you're mine." Lily pulled him closer. "My protector, my partner, my love. Always, darlin', always." Outside, the Georgia night wrapped around Hawthorne Ranch, peaceful, secure, home. Inside, Cole and Lily built the life they'd fought for, starting with this moment and stretching into forever. 6 months ago, Lily had been a lonely teacher checking on a student. Now she was Mrs. Cole Hawthorne, running a learning center that changed children's lives, married to a man who'd move heaven and earth to keep her safe. Sometimes danger led to exactly where you were meant to be. Sometimes the wrong place at the wrong time was actually the right place at the right time. And sometimes the man who saved your life became the man you couldn't imagine living without. Lily had come to Millbrook looking for peace. She'd found chaos, danger, and a love fierce enough to weather anything, and she wouldn't change a single moment. "I love you," she whispered as Cole's lips found hers again. "I love you too," he murmured back. "My brave, beautiful wife." In the end, that was all that mattered. Not the danger they'd survived or the threats they'd overcome, but the life they'd built together from ashes and fear and unexpected love. A life worth fighting for, a life worth protecting, a life worth living together.